Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20 plus years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
In this video, we're going to be showing you how to replace the rear brakes on this 2002 GMC 2500 HD, same as the Chevy as well, same as 2000 to 2007, both GMC and Chevy 2500 HDs. Tools you'll need are 18 and 22 millimeter sockets with your ratchet, also a breaker bar pipe for more leverage. I also do show you a way to get leverage with an 18 millimeter wrench and additional wrench to hook to it. Large regular screwdriver or a small pry bar, a large hammer, small stubby regular screwdrivers, also a brake spoon for that part of the video would work, wire brush, bearing grease, small hammer, and of course jack and jack stands. Okay, start out by removing your wheel. Carefully remove the plastic retainers and your center cap, and then if you're working with hand tools, you'll want to start with the vehicle on the ground, loosen the lug nuts, then raise it up and secure it, and then remove the lug nuts. I have the benefit of air tools here, so I remove the lug nuts and remove the tire. Okay, so taking a closer look at our brakes, you can see our discs are really deteriorating here, so we're going to replace those. And you can see right in there that pad only has a little bit of life left. The other one looks like it has more, but obviously we're going to replace the pads as well. Okay, so to remove the calipers here, what we're going to do is we're going to undo this 18 millimeter bolt here, and then the same one down here, 18 millimeter bolt. Okay, these are Torx screws, but this top one is very difficult to get to. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the bolts off and remove the whole caliper bracket and everything first. Before you unbolt it, what you can do is take a large screwdriver. I've got a breaker bar here. Okay, feed it right into this hole here and pry out, and that forces the pistons back into the caliper. So there is somewhat limited room here. So I put my 18 millimeter wrench on there, take another wrench, which gives me a little extra leverage. And if you have a breaker bar and a socket available, then you can usually fit those in there as well. I'm just showing you this is an alternative method.
So now I can remove this bolt, get that wrench off. Okay, now the lower one's easy to get to, so you can use a ratchet or a breaker bar or anything, or air tools. So I'll finish getting this bolt out. Okay. Now you can bring the caliper up like that.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward it here. Basically, once you pull that bracket up, you just have to force the shoes down through the bracket, and the biggest thing is there's little wear tabs that'll get caught, and you just make sure you bend those wear tabs in, and the shoes will go down right through the bracket, and you can pull the bracket right off.
So now what we have here is we've got our caliper. I've got a big C-clamp and one of the old pads. So I'm going to work this caliper or the C-clamp and push those pistons back in. Okay. Now I'm going to wipe down these slide bolts. They look like they're in nice shape. Just clean up the kind of sticky stuff on them. A little bit of new bearing grease. Coat them really well.
And now to remove this caliper, it's got a couple little locks that hold it on. You can either break these off or twist them off. They come off easily enough. Okay, now I'm just going to coat this with some penetrating oil. Okay, I already know my rotors are in tough shape, so I'm not going to worry too much about hurting them when I get them off. So, actually came off really easy. You can hit it right back here where your caliper was. It's a nice open space. Okay, so you saw my rotor come off really easy, but that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes your emergency brake might be adjusted so that the rotor doesn't come off very easily. So the first thing you might want to do is, see I have a short screwdriver. So now I'm talking with the rotor still on. You reach back here and you can see I'm pulling that plug out. Okay. What you're going to want to do is take another screwdriver, a little bit larger but still a small screwdriver, okay, and go through the back side until you feel this wheel, and then you're going to turn the wheel star down, which is bringing the screwdriver up, and that will basically loosen your emergency brake so your rotor will come off easier. Okay, so I've used some mineral spirits and I've cleaned off my shoes for my emergency brake, and I can see that I've got some oil in there. Probably means I've got a bad axle seal, but this truck's got 240,000 miles on it, so I'm not that worried about it. I'm going to use some anti-seize here. Probably never going to have to get this disc off again, but if I do ever have to get it off again, now I know I can. Okay, new rotor from 1A Auto. It's in a lot better shape than the old one. Okay, goes right on. I lightly secure it with a couple of lug nuts. Okay, now I'm going to take my small screwdriver, go in to the back side, and tighten up the emergency brake adjuster, basically until I start feeling it give some friction to the wheel.
Okay, and I'm going to fast forward through this. You do want to go on this side with the handle of your screwdriver up and then move it down, which moves the wheel up inside the rotor. And it's kind of trial and error. Sometimes you can move it one way and you don't tighten it, and then move it the other way and you do tighten it. Takes a little longer, but adjust them till you have good friction from the shoes, and then make sure you replace that rubber dust plug.
Here's my bracket for my brake shoes, and what I'm going to do is just take these stainless steel slides, run a wire brush on them, clean them all up. All the dirt off of them. Okay, new pads from 1A Auto. You can see a little bit more life than the old pads that were on there. Okay, so we've got our caliper with the slide bolts cleaned and well greased. Okay, make sure this can be the problem with these trucks. If these dry out and get dirt in them or whatever, the calipers actually seize up and your rear brakes don't even work. So if that's the case, you may want to replace these slide bolts, but you definitely want to get them out, clean them up. If you have to, wire brush them and make sure you get a good amount of grease back on them. Okay, so I've got my shoes right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bracket, just a little tiny bit of penetrating oil, and that's not really to make anything slide, it's just to hopefully make it a little easier to get together. So put my bracket down onto the slide bolts, then into the shoes. Small hammer. careful of is make sure that the wear tabs go through correctly. And also that your shoes are in the right spot here. Just about there. Okay, that shoe's on. Okay. That's on. And then what you do is you take this. It might benefit you to take like a screwdriver or a pry bar and just kind of. Shoes just getting stuck here on this slide a little bit. Just push it into place. And the lower one looks like it could needs to go in a little bit. Just push them into place a little bit. Okay. Down on. Shake it around a little bit until it goes in. Start that bolt. Thing down here. Lower bolt started. Tighten up my lower bolt a little bit with the air wrench. Okay. Can't really get a torque wrench on here, so I'm just going to put my wrench back on here and tighten this up really good. They should be tightened to about 120 foot-pounds. We'll use a torque wrench.
Okay, so I'm going to speed it up here as I remove those two lug nuts, then put the wheel on, hand thread my lug nuts at first, then use my torque wrench or my air wrench just to tighten them up a little bit. Very important. You want to make sure before you test drive the vehicle, you pump the brakes a bunch of times, then make sure it stops from like 5 miles an hour and 10 miles an hour before you road test. Okay, here again, fast forward as I've now put the vehicle on the ground and I'm torquing the lug nuts to 120 foot-pounds using a crossing pattern. Okay, and then I actually go around one by one afterwards just to check and make sure they're all torqued. And then put your cap on and hand tighten the plastic retainers. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.